One revert sister, she's asking if she can go to her cousin's wedding for non-Muslims.
Going to a non-Muslim wedding is no problem, but the issue is sometimes the things at the wedding. If there's music, dancing, mixing, alcohol, then you have to stay away from those aspects. But to go to a wedding and congratulate them, nothing wrong with that, if it doesn't involve any haram. Even going to the funeral of a non-Muslim is permissible, as long as you don't participate in any religious rituals there. And we know the dalil for that is the hadith of Ali ibn Abi Talib radiyallahu anhu, where when Abu Talib, who died not as a Muslim, was to be buried, Ali radiyan did not want to go because saying that he died as a non-Muslim. But then the Prophet ﷺ told him, go and bury your father, that even though he's not Muslim, but you should still go bury him. So to attend weddings or funerals is not an issue, as long as no religious rituals are attended, meaning not like a Christian service or a Jewish service or a Hindu, I don't know, they do that burning fire, walking around, getting lit, whatever stuff, right?
Getting lit.
Whatever, drinking cow urine, I don't know, whatever they do, right? But to participate in religious rituals is not permissible, and also not to indulge in any haram, like if there's alcohol there or mixing or dancing. But the marriage ceremony by itself, just attending, is not an issue, inshallah.
Actually, I have a question myself.
Yeah.
So I have a friend of mine, he has a Christian spouse, right? And he's recently came to the deen. And now he wants to kind of involve his children in the deen and teach them about Islam and stuff like that. But she is a very advocate, like she's a huge advocate for taking the children to church and stuff like that. So for a person who just got back on his deen and he wants to implement like the right things in the household, well, what should happen in that situation?
So I mean, the first thing is the mistake was that you cannot marry from Ahlul Kitab except when you've already agreed that the children will be raised Muslim and not going to church, and she has to be herself interested in Islam. That is from the shurut of marrying from Ahlul Kitab. So what he should have done, and again, I don't want to go back in time, but just to explain, that when he was marrying her, he should have told her, look, I'm just letting you know, kids are not going to go to church, synagogue, or Hindu temples, or any of that. I mean, they're going to be raised as Muslims, and going to the masjid. And even she had to have been interested herself, and not promiscuous and all that, a pious woman from Al-Kitab, for him to have married her. Now that he's already married, the only thing he can do is put his foot down and be like, no, they're not going to go to church because I'm not going to teach my children lies. When you go to church and you see a white guy on a cross, we know that's not any representation of Jesus or God, na'udhu billah. So how could I let my children go and, it's worse than letting your children go to a crack house, because a crack house, as horrible as it may be, but shirk and kufr will take you to hellfire. So, again, with laws and stuff, he has to figure that out. But Islamically, he needs to make sure his children are raised as pious Muslims.
Okay, so is it haram for the kids to go to the church?
Of course. Okay. Yeah. It's haram. How can you let your children go and be indoctrinated into something of kufr? Yeah. May Allah protect your friend and may Allah support him.